Today on Locked On Rockies, cracking open a can of Coors in San Diego. The Colorado Rockies win opening day, and it was a fun night at the yard.
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the 31st day of March in the year 2023. I am your host of the Locked On Rockies podcast, Paul Holden, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where you can find your team every single day. And if your team is the Colorado Rockies, well, you are in the right spot, because that's what we do around here is we talk about the Colorado Rockies each and every day, free and streaming on your favorite streaming service or live on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, where you can be in the live chat just like Joel DeGrace and Lux Ace and so many more. Hang out, ask your Rockies questions, be part of the show. Best part of the show is the fans, and it's great. It's fun. Everyone is feeling good. And yes, it's one game. Yes, it's only one game. But boy, oh boy, was there a lot to like about that game last night, and a lot to take from it. And again, we are going to overreact, as I have a tendency to do, but the threads, the foundation, the base, what you hope to see was on display in that game, with one major exception. I'm going to talk about that and a lot more here today on the Locked On Rockies podcast. Before we dive in, download the Gametime app, because today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Create an account and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed at Gametime. Folks, here we go. The Colorado Rockies season starts off electric. I mean, when you want to go kind of way far, if we want to go into our bag of overreaction immediately, this is what the Rockies are capable of. And it's a weird thing with the Padres. It's opening day. It's new. The Rockies played far from perfect baseball last night. 17 strikeouts. 17 strikeouts. That's insane. But that is compounded by the fact that 17 hits. I mean, here's the deal. If the Rockies win the most ugly games of baseball out of anyone in all of the league, I don't think I'm going to care that much, because they won. There was a lot to kind of be like, about yesterday, especially when it comes to striking out. The Rockies could have really had really gotten ahead of things early in the game if they were not one to sit, if they weren't striking out an entire side. I believe after the first round of scoring, Chris Bryant and Charlie Blackmon set the Rockies up with runners in scoring position with nobody out, and the Padres were able to and Blake Snell were able to set down the next three Rockies in a row on strikes. That cannot happen. I know how good pitchers are, but someone has to put the ball in play there. That is exactly the type of that is momentum killers. That won't beat. I mean, of course, it did beat a good team last night, but that's not going to help you win the close games. You cannot have those situations, especially from some of the players that were up in that situation. I know Ryan McMahon was one of them, and the couple of batters before him. Interesting to see Ryan McMahon so far back in the lineup as well. But the team still got 17 hits. The team still went after Blake Snell. Blake Snell had 70 pitches by the third, I'm pretty sure. I mean, that was great. And I mean, the strikeouts are tough, but at least if you're drawing out the at-bats, it's okay. If you can grind out a starting pitcher to 70 pitches, especially a good one, by the third inning, the strikeouts are a bummer, sure, and not what you're looking for, but that's still at least productivity and something that helps. It's exactly what you need to do when you need to go out and make a statement. And to be totally honest, the Rockies made a statement last night. Every team in baseball has a lot of stuff to work on. The Rockies need to address the shortcomings and the issues that we saw, the defensive errors, the strikeouts. Those things need to start being addressed right now if a team like the Rockies wants to stay in it, wants to keep this momentum. Yes, it's only one game, but you have to avoid the weeks, the 10-day stretch where striking out and fielder errors and not coming up in clutch hitting situations when you're generating when you have run scoring potential. Those are the key pitfalls the Rockies have to avoid on offense. Especially because this is a team that is now down their best closer, and we will talk about Daniel Bard. I want to just make it abundantly clear. We applaud Daniel Bard's decision, and we applaud the Colorado Rockies for backing Daniel Bard. That's an important thing to note there. Daniel Bard clearly needed to take time to himself. Clearly wasn't right, and that's important. I think that is a really good way to back up someone, and really it's exactly what the Rockies need to do, and emphasize the mental health as well as the physical health of their players. And that's key. That's going to help build Bard's confidence back up when he's ready to return. So I just want to throw that note in there. We might talk a little bit more about it, but that's really how I feel. I mean, I have nothing but positive things to say about that in terms of how it's being approached, them being upfront, telling us it's anxiety, and I mean and just being upfront about where Daniel Bard is at. I think it's an important conversation to have, and I'm glad the Rockies are handling it the right way. Daniel Bard has plenty of time to contribute to this team. Daniel Bard is still contributing to this team because he's still with the team. He is still talking. He's still going over and still doing things with the team. So it's not like he's completely stepped away. He's just trying to get some things right, and he said he's getting close. But I just want to applaud Daniel Bard for owning up. And or for not, I don't know if owning up's not the right word, for speaking up for himself, and I'm glad the Rockies are backing him up as well here. So the little Daniel Bard note, and nothing but the best for him as well. Justin Lawrence though, I'm getting more and more. I mean, again, I'm pumped up on beating the Padres energy, but man, oh man. Justin Lawrence with some control coming out of the pen in the 8th inning. Come on. That dude is throwing ridiculous stuff up there. He's got the funky arm angle. The Rockies really could have a dominant bullpen piece. Dinelson Lamet looked good last night as well. Again, let's bottom out. You know what? Nope. We're letting it. We're going. I'm going. We're diving in. We're going full hype machine. We're going full highlight mode. We got to talk about how cool these things were last night. We pumped the brakes. We spent this whole first segment. We talked about we talked about the hiccups, the reminders, and things. Let's talk about the hype. Let's talk about CJ freaking Cron. Let's talk about Chris Bryant's immediate impact to the lineup. Let's talk about 17 hits and 3 home runs for the Rockies on the freaking road. Let's dive into the fun stuff, the exciting stuff. Let's get all excited about the Colorado Rockies. But I got to tell you about our friends at Gametime. Gametime is going to help you out when you are in that pinch. I know you're like me. You want to go to a show, you want to go to an event, you want to go to something, but you always forget. And then you forget the things. And then getting tickets is kind of a pain in the butt, but not at Gametime. Buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be stressful. Gametime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. They got killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, so you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you'll have. Hey, maybe you want to be a little more spontaneous. Maybe you're kind of, maybe I'll go, maybe I won't go, trying to figure out what you want to do. Guess what? They have flash deals. So you want to be checking things out at Gametime so you can see if there's a great deal on something and bring a little spontaneity into your life. You don't have to plan months in advance, and they have deals on tickets right up to the day of events. You can even get images of your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive, and you can buy tickets in a matter of seconds. Snag the tickets without the stress with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Want to thank you for making Locked On Rockies your first listen of the day. We're free and streaming on your favorite streaming service. For your second listen of the day, hey, if you missed out, it's still early. We did every division in baseball. All the hosts on the Locked On Podcast Network came together. If you enjoyed our NL West season preview on the Locked On MLB YouTube channel, there's those with all the hosts from across baseball. So if you want to go dive in, and it's still way early, obviously, so still plenty of time for you to check in and see the preview coverage that we have going on there. You can also make the Locked On Broncos, Locked On Avalanche, Locked On Nuggets, or Locked On Buffs podcast your second listen of the day if you're looking for more Colorado sports coverage on the Locked On Podcast Network. But we're here to talk Rockies, baby. Your Colorado Rockies go into San Diego, go up against Blake Snell, and what do? They bring the thump, folks. Absolutely brilliant way to send a message at the beginning of this season. Yes, there's still plenty of what ifs. Yes, there's still stuff up in the air. But that's how you come out and say, hey, hi, hello, especially Chris Bryant. It wasn't home runs, but it was great offense. It was being the key centerpiece and clear missing link for the Rockies offense last year. This offense has a little bit more thump than we're used to. And if Montero leaving the yard in game one, that's exactly what we want to see from him. Beautiful power there. The strikeouts, still an issue. We know that, but we're in hype mode here. That's the step to get off on if you are Eleris Montero. CJ Cron picks right back up where he left off. Charlie Blackmon swings a good bat. The two guys we're worried about being old dudes with bad backs. What do? Continue to put the Colorado Rockies on their back and be the big threats they are. It's clear how much of an impact Chris Bryant being inserted into the lineup makes here. It adds depth. It adds a threat. It makes the Rockies less reliant on a bottom of the batting order to step up and produce runs in situations. I can't remember specific stats, but there was some pretty brutal stats. I think it was Spilly saying some pretty brutal stats about the bottom of the Rockies lineup in terms of offensive projections and production, but it didn't matter because the Rockies got down. They were able to come out immediately, played a run in the first, immediately score on the road, something that has been very hard for them to do. Then they get San Diego punches back, but the Rockies stayed in it. They stayed after it and were generating opportunities throughout the game against one of the game's best pitchers. It's one game. It's one sample size, but the Rockies really need to figure out how to take the magic of playing the San Diego Padres, considered to be one of the best teams in baseball. My pick to win the NL West, and honestly, someone that I believe strongly in to win the World Series. Why are the Rockies so good against the Padres? This is one of the best teams in baseball. If you can do this against the Padres, like you have since, 2016, according to our friends at Purple Row here. But it has, here's a trend for you. And I suggest that you go read more here from Purple Row. I just want to read a stat from this piece, and then you can go check out more. But going back to 2021, the Rockies are 22-17 against the Padres. If you go back to 2016, the Rockies are up 69-56. And now the Rockies have a 4-3 lead on opening day against the Padres. This is a good team. This has been a good team for years. Whatever your scouting is, whatever your mindset, whatever it is the Rockies do to mentally prepare to go up against the Padres, they have to take it into the other games. And they need to approach all teams like the Padres in this mindset. Don't slack when these lower ranking teams come to Denver. This is a team that showed aggression last night. This is a team that showed that they wanted to be in the fight. And this is a team that showed a lot of energy and a will to be there to say, hey, we aren't going to take this sitting down. We know the hullabaloo about the Padres. We know all the talk of them. We know all of the talk about the Rockies this offseason. That was a statement. Now, you have to follow up on it. It's an opening statement. It's a bold thing. It's like if the Rockies, it's classic Rockies, though. But to sit there and not be a little bit more juiced, feel a little bit more confident about the potential of this Colorado Rockies team this year, you're kidding yourself. That's a team that went up against one of the most hyped teams in baseball from the offseason and punched them in the mouth. They struck out 17 times, but they left the yard 3 times. Chris, there were multiple people with multiple hits. This was a Rockies team that came in, looked the Giant in the eye, and punched him in the jaw. It's a statement. The Rockies have a lot to build on. It's a long season. But that is the blueprint to Rockies baseball. It ain't going to be it's not perfectly pretty. 17 strikeouts, defensive errors, but it's led by a stud in German Marquez. Stud, capital, exclamation point, underline, stud. 2023, I really hope is the year of German Marquez. Oh boy, when he's grooving, man, he went blow for blow with Blake Snell, one of the best in the business. German has done that constantly in his career. German Marquez does not shy away when he is matched up against an elite pitcher on the other side of the field. That is the capabilities of what German Marquez is capable of, and that last night is what this Rockies offense is capable of. It cannot be an exception. Last night has to be the standard. You're not going to win every game. The Rockies will not go 162-0. But if you can do that against one of the best in the business, you need to replicate it. You need to do it more. You need to build off of it, because that was exciting last night. That was fun. And you can't say that about a lot of Rockies baseball last year. That was the most fun I had watching Rockies baseball in a long time, because you saw what the capabilities are. You saw what the possibilities are. You saw glimpses of the future. And if they can build, if they can replicate, if they can do what they did last night, 3-4 times a week, even flawed like it was last night, a win's a win, a dub's a dub. Go out and play fun Rockies baseball. Play your identity of baseball. And last night, that was Rockies baseball. Hey, we're going to strike out 17 times. But we're going to get 17 hits. We're going to score 8 times. We're going to hit 3 home runs. We're going to have constant runners in scoring position on top of pitchers that can pitch. At least our first 2. Because the Rockies rotation, hey, we'll see. All right, I have not dove into the live chat enough during this episode, so I want to get Rockies fans' reaction here to the opening day win over the Padres. We'll close out our closing thoughts on the game last night. Get look ahead here to tonight's matchup as well, coming up here in segment number 3. But before we do that, got to tell you about our friends at FanDuel. Folks, it's here. Now is the perfect time to get in on the basketball action and now baseball action, daily baseball action. If you want to get in on the Rockies, if you're feeling confident about this Rockies team, and let's take a look here what you could go place a bet on if you wanted to at FanDuel. FanDuel is the America's number one sports book, and they're offering new customers a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. So that means if you wanted to get in on, let's see, maybe the Rockies at plus 1.5 for tonight's spread, or maybe take the over-under at 8 runs, you can go check out all the action at FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's where you can sign up today and claim that no-sweat first bet. So don't miss your chance. And don't worry, folks. That app, it's safe, it's secure, it's super easy to use. Don't miss your shot at a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 when you join FanDuel today. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Want to thank you for making Locked On Rockies your first listen of the day. We're free and streaming on your favorite streaming service, bringing you all sorts of great Rockies talk, Rockies coverage every day. And we're also live on the Locked On Rockies podcast network's Locked On Rockies YouTube channel. And we are going to dive into the live chat. Cassidy Dean says, let's overreact to yesterday's win. Absolutely. That's what we've been doing. The threads, the potential, all there. Chris Bryant, immediate impact. CJ Cron hitting home runs. Man, it was just that was just fun. It was just fun. It really mixed with opening day. This is how the Rockies are going to keep, if they can replicate these type of games, this is how they can fight off the doldrums of the summer. Joel DeGray says KB is bringing back that K-boom. Chris Bryant last night, 3 hits and 5 at-bats with an RBI. Mwah, that's your number 2 hitter right there. Charlie Blackmon, 3 hits. CJ Cron, 4 hits, 5 RBIs, 2 home runs. I got to get this. I got to find this tweet here. From Danielle Allen-Tuck here. She had a stat here from last night. Rockies are the first team in the modern era to have 17 hits, strike out 17 times, and still win. Charlie Blackmon said, I was trying to figure out how he did that. Cron had 4 hits. This is also from Danielle Allen-Tuck here, @D_Allen-Tuck. Cron had 4 hits, 2 home runs, and tied a franchise record with 5 RBI. Bryant and Blackmon each had 3 hits. Montero had 2, and the team as a whole had 17, more than any road game last season. Last night, the Rockies did something they didn't do for an entire season last year. Go out on the road and have a hit parade. Go out on the road and have a massive offense performance. That's already a step in the right direction, folks. That's already something to be excited about. Let's see what else our live chat is saying. In the Rockies Instagram, people are saying we should trade Chuck. Blackmon is just proving the haters wrong. Charlie Blackmon isn't getting traded, folks. It just isn't going to happen. People just want Charlie Blackmon on their team because Charlie Blackmon is really, really cool. FNL Aviator says Padres will probably win the West, so this win felt great. And it did indeed. I mean, the Rockies went up against one of the best teams in baseball. It has been it was an absolute treat. Joel Gray says, I'm changing my hot take to Marquez getting the surprise no-hitter this year instead of Kyle. German Marquez has always been on my eye. We've always talked about how I think he's going to be the next one to throw a no-hitter in Rockies history. Cassidy Dean says Eleris Montero was having a rough night at the dish until that home run. Growing pains there, but 2 hits in the first one, including a big home run with the young guy. We'll take that. Growing pains. There was a lot of growing pains. I mean, again, the Rockies struck out 17 times last night. 17 times! That is nuts. Like, that is crazy. But hey, you know what the Rockies did? They got 10 strikeouts of their own against San Diego. 7-2. I kept saying the Rockies were winning 8-2, I think, earlier. So correcting myself there. It was fun. I mean, that's at the end of the day, you close your thoughts by just saying that was fun. Now do it again. And again, and again, and again. Show us, Rockies, that you can be consistent. Show us that you can bring this thing together like you guys say you can, like you guys believe you can. Show it. Prove it. We know. I mean, why are we now to doubt what this Rockies team can do against a great team? On the road. Again, Rockies did something last night that they didn't do all of last season. Make this the norm, not the exception. That should be the motto. Make this consistent. Make this the standard. And the Rockies are going to be a heck of a lot of fun to watch this year. That's the biggest takeaway from this. Yes, fun opening day, great. We were hyped. We had a lot of fun today. But now we know how long the Rockies see. We know how long the season is. We know how much hope the Rockies can inject in us Rockies fans within the first 2 weeks of the season. Make this the norm. Make this opening road trip one that sets the standard for how the Rockies play on the road for the rest of the season. That is key. But on the flip side, folks, let's keep bringing Coors to Slam Diego. Folks, that is going to do it for today's episode of Locked on Rockies. Thank you so much for joining us for another wonderful week of Rockies baseball. Hope you have a wonderful weekend watching regular season Rockies action. You can stay up to date with all things Rockies, all things Locked on Rockies with us at LO Rockies on Twitter, or the best spot is the Locked on Rockies YouTube channel where you can be part of the show, just like Cassidy Dean, Lux Ace, Furious MMO, Joel DeGrace, FNL Aviator, Eric Harper, and did I miss anybody? I don't think I missed anybody today. I hope I didn't miss anybody, and more. We had a record number of live viewers all at once here on the Locked on Rockies podcast. So even if you didn't jump into the live chat, thank you so much for tuning in today. Enjoy another good night of Rockies baseball here in San Diego. Kyle Freeland is taking the bump here for the Rockies. And let's see if this new offense can continue to roll. If the Rockies win tonight, that is at least guaranteeing a opening series split and bringing some nice momentum for the Rockies before they go into facing the dreaded LA Dodgers. Folks, subscribe to Locked on Rockies. It is a massive help to the show. If you do subscribe to Locked on Rockies, you're helping us get closer to that 500 subscriber goal. Hit that goal here, and we are going to do something cool. That's all I'm going to say for now. But folks, thank you for making us your first listen of the day. Why don't you go and make the Locked on Avalanche, Locked on Broncos, Locked on Nuggets, or Locked on Buffs podcast your second listen of the day? Or if you're a fantasy baseball fan, go check out the Locked on Fantasy Baseball podcast. Until next time, folks, this is Paul Holden saying so long from the Locked on Rockies podcast.